Leaders on the campaign trail aren't mincing words.
It's time to face the facts. We have a housing crisis in Canada. The supply of homes to own as well as to rent is not keeping up with our growing population.
Justin Trudeau's allowed this to happen, allowed this crisis to get worse. It's gotten worse while he's been in power.
There's always more to do.
The average home price across Canada soared more than 30% during the pandemic. Historically low mortgage rates and a demand for more space fueled the frenzy. But even before COVID, affordability was increasingly out of reach for many in Toronto and Vancouver.
Not only the question of supply, it's also how a lot of that supply, whether it's certainly home ownership, but I think increasingly rental, seems to be disconnected or decoupled from local incomes.
The steep climb of home prices is due to many factors. Since the 1980s, Canada has welcomed more immigrants, most of them settling in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal. Many more international students have been enrolling in universities and colleges, something that often leads to citizenship, and new home construction hasn't kept up. Developers blame local governments, who blame developers.
Land for new housing is slow to come to market because of municipalities being very slow in going through the various kinds of planning approvals.
There are other factors, too, like speculative investment in housing. With prices on a tear, investors, both foreign and domestic, have poured money into some of the hottest markets. Some of that money may involve laundered funds.
Canada's been critiqued for a number of years for our lack of anti-money laundering provisions.
What is increasingly obvious is the growing divide between older households that have been building up equity and younger workers priced out of the housing market.
Younger demographic, if you will, struggling to get into their first homes, while we have an older or, if you will, more established generations already looking at their second, third, or fourth home.
The youth vote and the affordability issue all potential wildcards in the upcoming federal election. Anne Gaviola, Global News, Toronto.